So how do you actually grow a clothing brand online, and what are some of the best ways to attract customers, generate sales from strangers right now, and even if you are just starting out, how do you make all of this happen? So in this video, I'm going to show you and walk you through the 5 key principles to growing your clothing brand online, including the full strategy breakdown with real numbers and screen sharing along the way. And no, you do not need to be advanced with your brand to use or implement any of these. Okay, so number 1 is the customer avatar. All right, so let me pull this up for you. I'm gonna make it much simpler. And if you have never ran into this before, maybe it's your first time watching this type of video, or maybe you've watched some of our videos before. This is number 1. It's probably the most important thing here. So we have our struggling avatar document. So number 1, I'm gonna write it up here just to make it a little bit easier for you so you guys can follow along for the board as well. So number 1 is our audience. And then also just going through here, so what is our struggling avatar? When you have a clothing brand, it is a commodity, and when you have a clothing brand or a boutique, private label, it doesn't matter. When you have that, you have to solve a problem. If you're not solving a problem, it's very difficult to offer a solution, right? So we have this document here that goes through, and it basically discovers, and you'll find out that you are your exact customer, and then this document helps you to get those things out of your head. My guess, if you're anything like the last 2,000 plus people that I've spoken to directly, you know all of these things. They are in your head, but you do not know how to get them out onto a piece of paper, printed or digital, to get them out of your head, to be clear about it. It's all going on in your head.
I know my customer.
Trust me, I think that you know your customer, but we can all get better, and you probably know them 75%. But the difference between good and great is the difference between 75 and 90%. So what are your core values, your identities, your experience, the knowledge? There's a difference between knowledge and knowing, right? That's a little bit different here. I could talk about growing a clothing brand, or I could show you how I've built hundreds and thousands of clothing brands. That's a little bit different. That is different than knowledge, right? That is the knowing piece. And so you're going to jump into this and figure out, okay, what is my customer? Who are they? Because if I know who they are, I can offer a solution, right? So number 1 is, who is your audience? And the next thing you need to be able to do inside of here as well is your unique solution. So how is your clothing brand different? This document also breaks down for you how your customer is different for you. What you realize is that you are not trying to compete on price. You are not trying to compete on quality, because nobody can experience those things. They can see the price, but then you are at a race to the bottom, and they can't experience quality. Even if a bunch of other people tell you that it is quality, you got to compete on who has the best offer or the best deal in the marketplace, which is a little hint into something that's going to happen a little bit later. But what is your unique solution to the marketplace? And then you need to be able to paint a picture, which we call our future paced hero. And this future paced hero is very simple. What is life like afterwards? So you go over here and you have a problem. This person who is your customer has a problem. You know exactly who they are. You meet them where they're at. You realize that you are that person with that problem. Then you offer your unique solution. Probably the reason you chose this brand to create, whether it was a boutique, whether it was a streetwear brand, whether it was a private label. You created this brand because there was a unique problem in the marketplace, and you created your own unique solution. Problem, solution, life afterwards. What is life like after you've already helped and solved somebody else's problem? So that's number 1. Very, very important here. If you know your audience, but you cannot speak to them, then it falls on deaf ears. It's really just what happens. So I'm going to help you understand how to communicate clearly with your audience. All right, before we get into that though, I just want to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding alongside my business partner, Christian. Now, Christian creates videos on this channel that are all about Shopify and themes and apps and really kind of the technical side. My focus is on marketing and messaging and advertising and making sure that you guys are growing the brand. Both of us kind of do that piece. Over the last 12 months, we've helped over 250 clothing brand owners just like you grow and scale online. And honestly, we put out 2 videos per week no matter what, and we've been doing this for years and years. And you're a clothing brand owner and you know that you need this advice to help you grow and scale, whether it's your first $1,000 month, $10,000 month, $100,000 or first $1 million month. If you're a clothing brand owner, just give it a little nice and like and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any of our content. And look, if you do this in the next 3 seconds, I will share with you the best non-animated TV show from the 1990s. Just comment your version if you don't agree with mine down in the comments below. Would love to hear what your 90s show is. All right, so message. Number 2 is the messaging. Basically, it's going to be wrapped up into 3 main things. Clarity. How clear are you with your actual audience? If you are not clear about who you are going after, it's going to be very difficult to try to make any money off of them. Okay, so you do know who your audience is, but if you don't clearly define, like for example, let's go into this. I have a feeling that you are a clothing brand owner who probably is stuck. Maybe that's stuck because you are running into budget issues with ads, or maybe it's because you don't know how to create content or jump on reels. Maybe you don't know how to create organic content. Maybe you don't know how to work with influencers. Those are all different examples of like things that I could dive deeper into to drive clarity on it. How do you offer and create a good brand and have a good brand and message? It's with consistency, showing up. We'll talk about the challenge and stuff here in a second. Don't worry. Fun challenge for you later to grow. But consistency, I want you to show up in the way that you told me you're going to show up every single day. And it doesn't mean that you have to post every single day, which I would highly suggest that you do, but that you are consistent with that. Kind of going back to the 90s shows, we all knew that like certain shows, I think for example, it was like on Thursday, like ER came on Thursday nights, and so they were consistent with it. You just knew what was going to happen. Consistency builds trust, and trust is what you need to make sales. And the last piece is connection, which is a whole different video. It's a whole nother conversation, but like with a clear message and you have connection, you can say, hey, look, I'm one of you. A lot of you guys may be millennials. Maybe you guys are a little bit older. Maybe there's some Gen Z people here. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Gen X. But you guys may have some level of connection to me as the person speaking here, because maybe you're a business owner. Probably. Maybe you're a parent. Maybe not, right? I'm a parent. Maybe you're married. Maybe not. But those are all pieces that we could connect throughout our messaging that actually gets people to make a purchase. My wife and I were at church this past weekend, and there was a mom who had come down with some kind of virus. She had a bunch of like hives, maybe, probably not shingles because that actually hurts a little bit, but she had a virus that was going on, and she heard the wrong message for many, many years. Okay, so she grew up in Nicaragua. She moved here. Her husband, I think, is Hispanic American, first generation or something like that, but he's been here for a while. And the constant message that was going on, and I promise this will make sense here in a second, the constant message that was going on is that they believed that if they ate a certain way that was quote unquote healthy. And I'm not a dietitian by any means or a nutritionist, but I've done my research online, which means absolutely nothing. But do your own research here. But the wrong message to the right person can absolutely mess them up, right? And that's why we got to dive deeper into this piece here. So the wrong message was this. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about the story, right? So she's been having health issues since May. It's been 4 or 5 months it's been going on, and she's been saying like, okay, she hasn't been sleeping well. She's like, I need to work out, and then I need to eat healthy, and that's gonna help fill my body, or fix my body, or whatever it is. And it's true. She's also had 3 kids, so there's probably a nutrient deficiency here, and there's probably a lot of other things that are going on. But she thought that the working out piece was more important than actual sleep, right? So she would stay up till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then wake up at 4:15, and then go and work out. And then what she was doing was just doing tons of cardio, a little bit of lifting, tons of cardio, and then just depleting herself of even more minerals. And then when she would get back, instead of having protein or red meat or whatever else, don't come at me, people, she would just eat salads. Like literally, she's just eating salads, okay? So maybe the lady is 130, 140. My guess, again, don't come after me, is she's probably having 50 grams of protein a day. So she's completely deficient on protein. She's not drinking enough water. She's burning the candle at both ends, right? Not getting enough sleep. And so then now her body is completely depleted of probably magnesium and iron and vitamin D. And all of those things are her body's reaction to her arms and everything else. Now, how does that have to do with clothing brands? Well, if you do not have clarity or consistency or connection with your actual brand, you will confuse your audience. And what happens with an audience that is confused? They never buy. You have to be consistent. You have to have clarity. You must build some level of connection. The connection is so important because if they don't actually trust you, the source that it's coming from, then they'll never listen in the first place. Okay, so your message is extremely, extremely important. All right, so I used to be in both camps. Number one, I would just focus on organic. And then I've went the opposite direction. It did paid, and now I found out that the best combination is really a little bit of both of those. So number 3 is you gotta have a traffic source, more so a platform to leverage for that traffic source. So one audience, one message, one traffic source. Now this traffic source can be organic or paid. You can divert from this a little bit, but honestly, probably not. The answer right now, And I'm going to say this so the video is more timeless for you. Find the platform that has the most leverage. If you are thinking that Instagram is super saturated, then try something else like Facebook. I know everybody's like, the boomers are all on Facebook. I hear you. But organic reach is crazy right now on Facebook. LinkedIn, wait, I'm B2C. I understand this is B2B, but maybe it makes sense. Maybe YouTube is a great place for you. Find a place that kind of like is this nice little Venn diagram of like, you are good at it and your audience is there, right? And then there's this little bleed over spot right there where you have the sweet spot. So maybe you create amazing content for Facebook Reels. Maybe you create amazing posts that are just images for Facebook, or maybe you're doing something on Pinterest or Snapchat. So find the platform that you can leverage where your audience is actually at. Can you still make money on Instagram? Absolutely. I'm going to talk about that later, but find the traffic source. You got to have one of them. Don't worry about being everywhere to everyone. I do want you to be posting 3 times per day if you can, like literally short form content, because it is very effective and very powerful. You guys can copy this. I save these all the time. These are basically, so Instagram mobile is an app called Foreplay. It's free. If you guys would like this link, just comment the word Foreplay down below. But this Foreplay link will give you all the type of trending ads, and I would like you to create like 2 or 3 of these per day so that you can catch attention, right? So it's hook, which is content like this, story, tell a story about who you are as a brand owner, connect with your audience with clear messaging because you know who your audience is. When you do those things, it's very helpful. And hook, story, and then an offer, which is a great transition to number 4, which is an offer and profit. And it's almost impossible to generate sales without an offer. And remember, I do not mean a discount. There are ways to create an amazing offer without a discount, or we can run the numbers, which I'm going to show you on here. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it. But first, hold up 1 second. I just want to say, if you're a clothing brand owner and you want to jump into the specifics of your brand, maybe you've been struggling, maybe you've had a ton of success, but it's plateaued. Maybe you are just getting started. Maybe you've sold a couple of items. Maybe you've made your first $5,000 month, but trying to get to 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, 500 or $1 million months, wherever you're at, we want to meet you where you're at. You can jump on a free strategy call with us. It's 45 minutes. There are limited spots, but if that's you, check out the link in the description down below. We will see you on the other side. Number 1, which is number 4. Number 1, which is number 4, which is offer. You've got to have a good offer. Now, before we even do that, let's run the numbers. This is the offer calculator template. If you want this, just literally comment the word offer down below and I will send it over to you. So we need to know what our average order value is. Okay, let's say it's $100. Let's also say our cost of goods, so not profit. So to think about it this way, a lot of people confuse this number. So your cost of goods could be $30, which is 30%. Your profit margin is 70%. So this is $30 here, 30% cost of goods. Everything else is going to be about the same here. You guys shipping, maybe the customer pays this, you guys pay, 0, whatever it may be. Fulfillment per order, returns, maybe it's $5, I don't know. So you guys play around with your numbers, and then you have an assumption for CAC. What is the cost to acquire a customer or customer acquisition cost? That's that $15 here. I'm gonna say 20. Right here, we're making 38% profit. If we get 200 orders per month, we are going to, like fixed overhead, we're gonna make $7,000 a month. You gotta figure out, okay, what's the actual overhead? Now, that may be that you spend $2,000 in ads. You're still making $5,000. Why is that important? Because if you don't know those numbers, it's extremely important or extremely hard to try to figure out an offer, right here, an offer that actually makes sense for your brand, because you cannot give away the farm if you don't know that number. And I always like to be first purchase profitable. Now, lifetime value, that's what I love about clothing brands, is the lifetime value, how much somebody spends with you in 60, 90, 12 months is awesome. That's kind of like a cherry on the top. That's your email and SMS, retention.com. Those are all things that can really help grow your brand. But if you're not first purchase profitable, it becomes a little bit more difficult. Throughout this calculator, you can fill out the information here. There is the product catalog, but more importantly, here's some offers that we could go through. So flat percentage off of a certain dollar amount, gift with purchase, buy 3, get 2, or buy 2, get 1, buy 3, get 1, BOGO. You can actually run the numbers for your own business and figure out the offer. You can also duplicate and add in your own options as well. So I saw this calculator previously online, and I was like, okay, this is good, but not specific to clothing brands. How can we make this our own? How can we tweak? How can we add on our own stuff? How can we add in our gross margins? How can we add in our own things and just make it our way? And this is the best that we could come up with, and we're continuing to iterate. So even the version you get will probably be even better than this as well. So if this is something of interest for you, just comment the word offer down below, but you've got to have an amazing offer when you are starting. All right, and number 5 is one product. Every single brand that I have ever helped or that we've ever worked with, they had one product that sold more than the other ones. You need to find a winning product. The best way to do this is to create organic content around that product. And then when you have that organic content from this traffic right here, you can now create variations of that content. You're gonna create reels, you're gonna create images, you're gonna create benefits and stories and things from this foreplay board that are saved here. They're gonna be very helpful for you for that one product. That way you can actually reach more and more people. And when you have that one product, you can use a tool. There's one-click upsell. We prefer Sell Easy or Vitals. I think Vitals is actually in the link in the description down below. You can check out them. But then you can do upsells and downsells and cross-sells for your hero product. Build everything around that. That way you can actually scale it up. You know what type of content to test. You know what type of messaging to have. It makes it much easier. So just clearly, what is it? So we got one audience, one message, one traffic source, one offer, one product, and the bonus one for you guys, you have to do this for 1 year, which seems like a long time. And you may be saying to the end of this video, and you're like, wait, I said I was gonna do it fast. You're right, absolutely, it is going to be fast. You're gonna see results faster, but you need to make sure to stay laser focused on these for 1 year. That is what's gonna help you to build a very strong, solid foundation for the business. Okay, now you know how to make money fast. It's time to do it consistently with paid ads. Go watch this video on Instagram ads to put this gasoline on the fire. Go watch that video right here next. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And P.S. please make sure you hit that subscribe button.